Welcome back to the channel. This is Vintage Classic Solutions. My name's EJ Parker. I'm your host. Today we're going to discuss something that comes up a lot this time of year. This is like mid-November, and that's how do I package and ship super delicate antique and vintage Christmas ornaments made of paper thin glass, right? This is probably early mid 20th century. These are typically made in Germany. They can be made in the US, shiny bright, Czechoslovakia. Some could be worth a ton of money. And I know on Instagram, I'm also on Instagram, that question will pop up, like, you know, like a contest, who has the best solution to ship fragile, this thing is transparent, fragile glass Christmas ornaments. And this goes for anything that's fragile, right? So this is what I do, and I've had a 100% success so far. Knock on wood. 1888 chair right there. 8's lucky. Okay, so this is what I do. I drink coffee, so I save my coffee, empty coffee cans throughout the year. I throw them under the sink or whatever. Key is this: make sure you wash them first, because when you come to pack something and it smells like coffee and it's dirt, like got coffee grinds, your customer would complain, right? If it's dirty, it's like coffee and it smells. Do yourself a favor when you're done, like just when it's emptied, just wash it out a couple times, and then I just do this: throw the lid, like the lid in there, because you'll lose the lid and then it screws this whole process up. Trust me. Wash the can and then just throw the lid in there. Now notice I'm gonna be really anal about this because I'm here to help you. If you close the lid, what's gonna happen is you're gonna trap in all that moisture. So when you open this up in like 4 months, it's gonna be wet, and then you gotta sit there and wait for it to dry, because you can't put in like tissue paper there when it's wet, right? It'll absorb it. So I have solutions. So what I do is this. Now here I have a dry, scent-free, essentially container for me to use for whatever. So I save these, right? Keep the lid in there like this. Don't worry, it bends, it'll still work. All right, cool. So eBay says, hey, congratulations, you just sold this item. How do I pack it? This is what I do. So I got my empty container. Now you need to have either like something finer and softer than newspaper, because newspaper can be a little bit too abrasive and like hard. So tissue paper, if you're in a bind, just go to the dollar store and just buy it for $1, and you get like a roll of it, which is more than enough for this project. If you don't have it, which I don't have on hand, just use a paper towel, and I just crinkle it up, you know, because when it's new, it's a little bit stiff. Crinkle it. You just want to make it shock absorbent. So I'm going to add a little bit of just like magazine paper, and then, you know, you got to be sensitive to the dimensions and how much, you know, give and not. I'm going to do this just so I'm secure with. I'm going to put this right now in like a piece. And you got, and sellers, buyers appreciate when you're thoughtful with wrapping things like this, because if you just like plop it in with no tape or like a rubber band, like they could open it and it can just fall out and it's broken. You know what I mean? So you got to be sensitive to that. So what's my solution to this? That's a good damn question. Let me think. I do have masking tape, is what you like. Painter's tape is what you want to use. Duct tape's way too strong. And like packing tape, the clear stuff I use all the time on the tape gun, that's way too strong as well. So this masking tape or painter's tape is good. And you just want to be like just use a little bit, because you want as least effort on your buyer's side to open this thing. So I mean, you just got to be creative. You know what I mean? I'm making like a burrito. Check it out. It's kind of like a burrito. I mean, you're gonna have to improvise, of course, as in life, because this is this is a smaller, it's like a walnut size ornament. Usually they're bigger, you know, like lemon size or whatever. Then you have figural ones and stuff. So, all right, so it's in a burrito. I'm gonna add another layer of wrinkled up paper towel, and then I feel like I need to put this in something. Oh, I know. Do I know? This is where you gotta improvise. So right now my dilemma is this: like, I don't want to put it directly in because it'll be too loose. All right, so now I have a little nest in there. I kind of want to put this burrito in a thing. Maybe I'll. Okay, so I have a little bit of this on hand. This could help. Bubble wrap. I'm gonna do. Okay, I'm trying to get. The whole point is to show everyone. So let me fold this up. Now, as I fold this, let me tell you a story. Now, as you see, I'm wearing a shirt. I was like, like attacked by a shark. Got a big hole. There's a big story behind this shirt, and it's a really good story. So check this out. So it was 2000, I think, 5. And I was on a visa run in Hong Kong. I had to get a visa because I was living in China, in Shanghai. And back then, and I was like new. I moved there I was there only for a year, so I was learning the ropes about how to renew your visa. And I was living there as a musician, freelance artist, a freelance musician. So, like one of the surefire ways to get your visa was to just hop on a plane. Go down to Hong Kong, where there's the American consulate, and then you get a new or a Chinese consulate. Because you had to leave the country. It was this whole like rigmarole. Like, you had to leave the country to get a visa to come back in, even if you lived in the country and like renting an apartment. So I was renting an apartment. I was working, just freelancing. I had a girlfriend and everything. I was getting established there, and I had to get a visa. So I jumped on a plane to Hong Kong. I'm like, oh, cool. I booked a hotel ahead. It was all good. You know what I mean? So now this is wrapped. And the whole point is to be really light, because don't forget there's super thin glass. So I'm not applying any pressure. I'm being very mindful. So I fly down to Hong Kong. It's gonna be no problem. Just bring enough money. Got my just couple of essentials, just for like I'm spending the night at a hotel, getting up, walking to the consulate, Chinese consulate, getting the visa, and then I'm getting on a plane going back to Shanghai, and I have a gig that night, right? So I fly to Hong Kong. I've been there before, so it's I know a little bit about it. It's a beautiful city. Now hold on. What I might do. I just have like scraps of cardboard. I'm just gonna cut, just to inspire you to have your own ideas how to solve these problems. Because when you ship things, this tape's not working that well on the bubble wrap. When you ship things, you gotta just figure out ways to do it. You know what I mean? So this now I feel a lot better now. So I want to put a rubber band. Do I have a rubber band? Yes. So hold on to rubber bands, because they come in handy, right? Rubber band. I don't want it to be too tight though. I might just go with the tape. What do I do? Well, this is like, you see how it's tricky. You know what I mean? And then you got the issue of this is too big, so you gotta check along the way. Don't do all this work and then be like, oh God, it doesn't fit. You gotta trim it. If it doesn't fit, just go back and redo it. Not a big deal. So my story. So I land in Hong Kong, go to my hotel. I think I got some good local food. There the cab drivers speak English, so you just talk to them and stuff. And then I was gonna get up really early and get my visa and go. So I get up bright and early, and the city is super quiet, and I mean quiet. Immediately, I'm like, what the hell is going on? You know what I mean? Like, because Hong Kong is hustle and bustle. And I was seeing like these handwritten signs in Chinese calligraphy on the storefronts, and I was like, oh no. I need like a Ziploc bag. So while I mill about, I have a bag. So I know something's wrong, and there's no one on the street, and what's going on? It's got to be some kind of holiday that I was unaware of. So now it's in the bag, it's loose, but it's protected, and it'll stay together. Now, this is a pivotal part. So we have like a nest, as you can see, just, you know, newspaper, and then your tissue or your paper towel, and this, you know, gentle. If you hear it go, then you got to go contact your seller or your buyer and say, sorry, it's broken. My apologies. You know, I tried my best. You know, I'm feeling a little bit nervous with the pressure. You got to be sensitive to this. You know, this is not a quick thing. If you rush it, you'll break it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to trim. And then now I'm going to close it. Maybe this is a better idea. It's cleaner. Just like kind of close it, right? Close the end. I'm gonna do the other side too because it's just too much. And then now you don't want to compact it and smash it. All right, where'd my tape go? So I asked someone on the street finally, and they're like, "Oh no, it's a holiday. This is the anniversary of the handover from Hong Kong going from the British back to China." And I was like, uh-oh, everything was closed for like a week. And I had, I think maybe like $80 on me. And then I just had like the shirt on that I was wearing, my pants, and like I think I had a toothbrush and like my deodorant, and that was it. And my phone, and then and my camera, which was good. All right, I gotta stay focused here. So I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? Holy crap, I'm stuck here until, you know, for a week. Now, I did have a credit card on a really low, like a $500 credit card. But back then, I was like, I think like 24. I didn't know I didn't know the PIN number that you could like go do like an ATM and extract cash. So, and it was like also like a US bank, so I didn't know if you could do that. So now I'm putting, by the way, I'm gonna do a layer of your tissue paper or your paper towel on top of your ornament, being very gentle. Now I'm going to do just like one piece of extra crinkled up newspaper or magazine or whatever. Just, it can't be too brittle. If you fill it, just stop and take some away. And then you gotta do a test like this. You gotta do like a shake test, like because this is gonna drop like 3 feet when I put it in my post office, like the drop thing. It drops. I don't think I do this. Did I figure this step? Yeah. Now it could be okay like this, and see, it already came undone. That's why, see, it came undone. That looks the tape. It could come loose in there, so I'm just gonna be extra careful for my customers. And now it's in a plastic bag, clean cellophane bag, and I'm gonna tape this so it can't come loose. That's where the damage happens. It rattles around inside. This could be going to anywhere. Now that eBay's international, this could be going to Germany. Who knows? All right, so this is taped closed. Now it's going in gently. And I'll tell you, when I'm honest, you know, I've broken items. It happens very rarely. You put it in something and you hear a crack, and you just gotta tell the seller immediately, and they're always appreciative. You get their money back, and that's all you can do. All right, so that's in there. I'm putting the tissue paper in now. and then just a little bit. I'm gonna fill in like the gaps with newspaper, like that, just to absorb any like shock. And you can use like the scraps from your paper or your, I'm sorry, your bubble wrap. Okay, so I'm in Hong Kong. So what do, right? So I walk towards Victoria Park, which is a famous park right on the bay. And I see like a hostel, right? Like a really, you go up these stairs. There's signs everywhere, just like a Japanimation or whatever, like a cartoon. And there's a hostel, so I go up and there's like a middle-aged gentleman with glasses sitting behind a desk, and I tell him the truth. I say, I live in Shanghai. I came for this overnight to get a visa on a visa run. I have $80, and he goes, okay, I can get your visa renewed, and I have room for you. Just give me the $80 and your passport, and your visa will be done in like 3 days. And I was like, I love Hong Kong. Like, this guy just made it happen. I just happened to run into the right guy. And I'm a trusting soul but I mean, you have to be, because you have to at some point in a foreign country hand your passport over to an official from a different country to get some kind of stamp or whatever. Do things happen? Yes, people get their passports taken, but you can always get a new one. But anyhow, this guy had his name was on the hostel, and he was behind the desk, so I gave him my passport, my only money I had. And my room was like, I loved it. It was like that wide. I had a little TV, and it was all like British television, Hong Kong television. And I had 7-Eleven. All right, now I'm going to close this up. 7-Eleven in Hong Kong is pretty good. The food, by the way, it's way better, in my opinion, than in the U.S. It's like nice ramen noodles, like better than like your make-it-home noodles. They have flavor. So I ate those all the time. And I watched like Little Britain, these British, comedy shows in my little tiny room. And then during the day I just walked around. But I had to change a shirt, so and I didn't know how to get the money out of the bank. So now this is in there, right? I think I even went up to an ATM, in like central Hong Kong, with a gazillion people, and I'm like trying to get money out of my local, little Ohio credit union bank or whatever, and it wasn't working. And I don't want to mess around and get this card stuck in there, you know what I mean? Then I'm screwed. So I played it safe. So I'm like, I gotta get a shirt. So I just went to there's like an Express, that company. I think they went out of business. It's like the Gap or like Old Navy, but higher end, kind of like. And it was like the cheapest thing, trust me, like I could find like in Hong Kong. So I went in. This shirt's cool. I'm like, all right, it was, I don't know, like $25 or maybe $30. I bought it, and I wore this for the rest of the week. And then I couldn't find any thrift stores in Hong Kong. And then I just stayed in this little room and ate my noodles, and it rained, and it was really cool to just walk around and get to know Hong Kong. And the gentleman, I wish I remember his name. And there's like a little, and I remember I had to go to there was we had to share the bathroom with everyone. Imagine like a hostel, kind of like a really grungy college dorm, co-ed. People coming and going with backpacks, younger people usually, and there was a computer area, like internet bar, and everyone's lined up for that. Of course, this is like 2005, so that no one had really phones happening with data yet and stuff. So everyone was in line, and I had to cancel my gigs, and because I had gigs that night when I first got into the hostel, so I had to email people and stuff and cancel for the whole week, So I lost money, but it was an adventure. It was a priceless adventure. So that gentleman, really saved my ass for, that my pocket money and I gave my passport. He got my visa. I got on a plane back to Shanghai. The visa was good. I got it through customs, and I went on with my life merrily in Shanghai. So the moral of the story there is just look ahead. Like if you're traveling to a different country and you're unaware and you're not maybe familiar with their custom or their holidays or whatever, check that out. Now for me, it led to a great adventure that I wouldn't trade for the world. I got to really know Hong Kong as like a near starving person. It was awesome. You figure things out. Just people watch in a Hong Kong McDonald's and read the newspaper. It was awesome. It was fun. I can explore my memory now. And so you can travel the world, and you don't need a lot of money, folks. You just got to do it if that's what you want to do. Okay, now what, right? So now this is secure. There's no, I'm not hearing any shaking. It's not too tight. It's a balance, a yin yang. Not too tight, not too loose. Okay, now what? You want to have, now usually you can also use the metal ones. Of course, metal ones are great. Metal coffee cans. Now, next step, empty box, bigger than this, and then it's, you know, just newspaper or whatever, or styrofoam. Newspaper is better because it's more shock absorbent. Put that in there, and then you stuff it. Now, if it's a metal can, I mean, that's really, really protected. That's so safe. And then you double it like this. Now you have this, right? Your coffee can there. So this is great. Now, what if you're saying, well, EJ, this ornament is, you know, from Germany, late 19th century, Dresden. They're worth a fortune. There's some paper ones worth big money, like, you know, $1,000, give or take, you know. Okay, let's do this then. You can double box, of course, or, I mean, doing this, in my opinion, is almost the same as double boxing. Just reinforce every side with scrap. You know, I have scrap cardboard everywhere. You can get creative with this. You got to cut it up. Carefully cut it up. Remember, a dull knife, in my opinion, is more dangerous than a sharp knife. So keep your blade sharp. Otherwise, you'll just force it and you mess something up and hurt yourself. Don't do that. All right, so this is just scrap cardboard. It's clean, but it's scrap. So I'm just reinforcing every side of this box. And you can do the base too. I think I already did the base, but if you want, you can do 3 layers. And then you do this. You just add. Just because I don't have anything near, just for the sake of pretend, you just add more newspaper to the top, and then I always add another layer of cardboard. So you have essentially made it box in box, or the box. So now you have, just to recap, you have your ornament wrapped in tissue, wrapped in bubble wrap, in cellophane, placed in a tissue nest, in a coffee, a used coffee can that's been cleaned and washed and dried. You place it in a box that's larger with, you know, your paper. You want to use paper more than styrofoam, because styrofoam is less shock absorbent. Like unless you use like the, you know, the popcorn stuff. I hear even old timers using just popcorn, like unsalted actual popcorn, which is kind of smart actually. And then you can feed to the birds. It's actually kind of genius. Just popcorn. It may be oil. My concern would be oily though, but you could probably figure something out. Anyhow, so then paper around it, and then I just add, you know, as I see fit, more pieces, and you can keep adding pieces of cardboard. Where, I mean, you can almost kick this damn thing, and you're not going to hurt anything inside, which is the way you want to go. So that's it. And then, you know, where's it go? So fold it up like that. Do a shake test. I don't hear anything knocking or moving around. And then I'll do this. And then for these kind of things, because my concern is crush, right? Like heavy stuff on top, especially in the holidays. Because the company, the moving or the shipping companies hire a lot of new folks for the holidays, and they're not as careful or whatever with the stuff, and they'll put stuff on top of stuff. So you want it to be strong and crush resistant. You know what I mean? That's where all that inside, those inner pieces can really help support that. So that's what I'm worried about now, right? That crush possibility. All right, so now this is good. I don't hear anything. All right, fragile. And then so that's it. Now let's say, well, I can't sleep at night because the customer is texting, like, you know, through eBay saying, you know, be really careful. They're, you know, they're really understandably worried about their priceless antique ornament. So you can, I've done this before. You just get another, like, you know, just get extra cardboard, and then you can just cut it as you see fit. You know what I mean? And then just like tape that down to the exterior, so you don't have to like reopen it and get all that tape. You just waste tape. I mean, you can just add layers to the outside. You just want to make sure it's cleanly taped to corners, because in transit it may get caught on some kind of conveyor belt. So just make sure your corners and edges are clean. Besides that, that's it. Use your imagination. Save when you're out. Save, you know, when you see people throwing away newspaper that's clean and dry, save that. Save boxes, and then, well, where do you store them? We'll just cut them apart, you know, and then they collapse, and then you just stack them up. So I hope this has been helpful to you. If it's not, I'm sorry. Leave any comments that you want to, and until next time, thanks for checking in.